So why is it that a CarPlay stereo costs $300 or $400 to start out with and skyrockets from there? What if I told you there's a cheaper solution that has a really attractive price point? I mean, like way cheaper, like $80 on Amazon cheaper. Would you try it? Would you trust it? How long would you think it would last? Well, I bought the cheapest CarPlay stereo on Amazon, and I will answer all of these questions for you right now. Let's go. So I'm going to answer all the questions for you about whether or not you should buy the Sony Alpine JVC Kenwood Pioneer, or whether or not you can cheap out and buy the cheapest car stereo on Amazon. So in 2020, I've been working on vehicles. I've been working on my channel here and trying to increase my channel growth and make this into kind of a DIY car channel. And during that time, I actually have upgraded several of my cars and their stereos. So first I was working on my Honda Pilot, and I got a $40 or $50 stereo off of Amazon. Doubled in, backup camera. I basically wanted it for a place to charge my phone and the backup camera, and slightly better sound than the old stock stereo that I'd had in there for 11 years. Great price point for this stereo, but something tells me that quality control may not have been their highest priority. That one was okay. It had a slow screen, the apps were clunky inside of it, the menu system wasn't great. You could tell that it was definitely not a very good software product, but it worked. And the backup camera worked. I mean, a backup camera for 20 bucks, place to charge my phone, another 10 bucks. So I basically got a stereo for 10 bucks. It was worth it. Well, let's move on to my Honda Element that I've been working on for the last couple months. You can check out the YouTube series here. Maybe it's there. One of them. So I wanted to try the CarPlay version. Now there's a ton of these online. They all pretty much have the same menu system. They all have the same buttons. They pretty much look the same. So I'm assuming they all have the same software, different brands, different Amazon sellers, but they all come from the same place. Well, for $80, I ended up on this one. It's a brand called Hikety, Hikety. I'm not really sure. They said it was CarPlay. Came with a backup camera and obviously the wiring and everything. So I got it all installed and it worked okay. Well, kind of. The sound was marginal, but the screen at least was okay. Now, the mic that's built into this thing is right here. There's nowhere to put it on the back. There's nowhere to plug it into. That's for a GPS tag or something. And in fact, as we look around this, there's no branding anywhere on this. There's no one to report to if they were, say, I don't know, copyright or trademark infringement. I don't know. Seems like the Wild West on Amazon these days. But here we are, we have it. It worked, so we'll give it a try. This mic is terrible. You're more likely to have a conversation yelling at someone in a hailstorm than you are using this thing to actually make a call. But that's okay. I got it for other reasons, right? Kind of. So I actually use the stereo and the mic to talk to my phone a lot. And I talk to it, hey, place this call, give me directions to here. And that would work, yeah, if I could find a sound booth or maybe a vacuum chamber that I could park the Element in. This might work maybe 30% of the time. But I mainly got it for the backup camera and so that I can listen to music and podcasts and audiobooks as I drive around. Well, the backup camera would get jitters during the first 3 seconds of backing up, so hopefully you weren't going anywhere like in a hurry. But I didn't get it just for that. I also got it because I needed a place to charge my phone. This is bigger than a cigarette lighter, so it's probably gonna work better, right? Charge my phone faster. Nope. This thing would actually, I would drive for an hour while listening to something on my phone, and I would have less battery when I got there. Well, I ended up selling the Element. I sold it to a family friend, and a 17-year-old young lady bought it as her first vehicle. This killer deal. This questionable trademark and copyright infringement deal. This backup camera that's glitchy every 3 times. And that is where this story gets really crappy. Because that stereo almost caused Grace to get into a car wreck. So I sell the car. A week's gone by. Grace's mom gives me a call. So it turns out when Grace was driving, a bunch of smoke started coming out of the dash and filling up the entire cabin of the Element. And she almost got into a wreck. So luckily she was able to pull over. I mean, the car's covered in smoke, and she got out and was able to turn the car off, and she called my friend Ryan and he came over to help her out. I don't know, fried stereo, car wasn't smoking anymore, so Christmas was around the corner. He bought her an Alpine stereo for Christmas. Same thing. CarPlay, doubled in, small form factor like this, but a budget model, but still an Alpine, a name brand. So why is it that this was such a crappy stereo? Let's take a look. I don't know if you can see this wiring. I'll show you maybe with a close-up, but it is fried.
Luckily, Grace got the car off quickly.
So I tried this stereo for you so that you don't have to waste your money and so you don't have to potentially burn your car down. I mean, what would have happened if someone had gone out in the morning and warmed up their car and then come back 5 minutes later? They would have found a smoldering pile of car parts. For some of the cars I've owned, that probably would have been an improvement. So what do I think about the cheapest CarPlay stereo on Amazon? Would I buy it? Yes. Would I trust it? Never. How long would I expect it to last? More than a month. So let me know in the comments below. Have you tried this stereo? Have you also had a problem with this thing frying inside of your car? Any of them on there? Let me know in the comments below. And if this is your first time to the channel, consider mashing the subscription bell down below to stay up to date on everything automotive, DIY, how-to, and tech related. Stay tuned for next week's episode.